All right, Broncos country. It's that time of year again. You know, I love doing all these off-season master plans, going through free agency plan, who were cut, who were extending, who were drafting. So, this is version one of the perfect off-season plan to bring the Broncos to domination and hopefully taking a Lombardi trophy back to Denver for the 2026 season. T Fish is in the house saying, Alex Pearson leaving, brother. Hey, let me make this case. Let me make this case because, yeah, just hear me out. All right. So, y'all be sure, like, subscribe, get in the comments. We're going to go through free agency plan. Then we'll get to my first mock draft. I want to let you guys, or I want to know what you guys got to say. And also, shout out to Kalshi for sponsoring the video. You can sign up on the link there in the description. We got the Super Bowl just, what, a week away? Use that code, get a $10 bonus when you deposit 10. But let's go ahead and get started, guys. So, Broncos right now, top 51 cap space. You can see it there in the corner is just a hair under $29 million. And we are going to be making some moves, okay, to free up some contract space. We're going to go through some different releases. Number one, it pains me to say this, but Ben Powers, man, your time has come and gone, man. It's time to go. We're going to release Ben Powers. We're going to save $8.38 million on the cap by releasing him. Best of luck to him. And then there are a couple players that I did also want to release that are just smaller cap hits. Obviously, wanting to keep all of our good players, and we got a lot of good players, but there are a few that need to go. Matt Pert, sorry, man, you're gone. Released, $3.225 million saved. And then, guys, I don't know if this is going to happen, but it absolutely needs to happen. Stop keeping roster spots for guys that can never get on the field. Drew Sanders, good riddance, man. I'm sure you're a wonderful guy, but good riddance, man. You've been holding up a spot on the 53 for freaking ever. And yeah, so you got to go. Now, that leaves us with $42 million in cap space. That's a lot to play with. We got a lot of free agents to sign, guys. Likely, we're not bringing back John Franklin Myers. We're not bringing back Alex Singleton. I will riot. We're not bringing back Adam Troutman. Go check out Kodiak Broncos. He had a video on 5 players the Broncos absolutely need to move on from. PJ Locke, I could see us maybe moving on from or bringing him back, but I think we move on. The only guy that I see us bringing back from these UFAs right here, unrestricted free agents, is J.K. Dobbins. So we're going to sign J.K. Dobbins here. Now, they had a market value contract of 2 years, $5 million. I still doubt that happens. I think we'll sign him to probably probably like what, a 1 year, $6 million contract. Base salary will probably be closer to $2 million or so because, he'll want some of that. But $4 million against the cap, you'll take that every time. We'll bring him back. Matt Henningsen, gone. Lucas Kroll, gone. Jaquan McMillan, he will be back because we control his rights as a restricted free agent. We're going to put a second-round tender on him for $5.8 million. That's what he'll play under, unless a team wants to give us a second-round draft pick, all right? That would be insane. Now, Dondrea Tillman, all these early rights guys we're bringing back, they are steals of deals. So, Dondrea Tillman back. Devin Key, who could be, a primary backup safety for us this next year with his development. Jordan Jackson, we'll still bring him back. I don't know if he makes it out of camp this time, though. Jaleel McLaughlin, sorry, man. We're not even going to tender you. Nate Atkins, you're gone. But Alex Palczewski, we need to bring him back either at a second-round tender, which at $5.822 million seems a little pricey for him, but he might be that starting guard for us this year with letting go of Ben Powers. Now, we still got why am I blanking on the lineman that broke his ankle there in preseason that was looking great with the mustache? Tell me. But I think we put a first refusal tender on him at $3.553 million. That'll give us the option to match, I believe. So we'll throw that on there, okay? And Tyler Beatty, Bidet. Sorry, you're gone. Sam Ellinger. Maybe we bring him back, but I'm not going to do that for this exercise. So that leaves us with about $25 million in cap space. With our draft picks, let's include that into the free agency pool before we get into free agency. We got a ton of picks. I think we got like, what? We got like, 8 or 9 picks. So essentially $22 million of working cap space for free agency is what we have, which is totally fine. So let's get back to the active roster, and there are a few guys that we're going to sign. Okay. First off, we're going to sign a guy that we've talked about a lot on this channel and with my other friends on their channels. All right. It is David Njoku. Now, okay, he only had like 300 receiving yards this year. Cleveland was absolutely broken. He's a guy that can block. He still has receiving chops, and we need to revamp this tight end room. Now, I guess I could have cut Evan Ingram if I wanted to, but I'm going to say, hey, let him play for this year. Maybe Davis Webb can help get some more out of him, but we need some tight end room with some juice. I still think Evan Ingram has a lot more juice left in the tank than guys like Tyler Conklin, but we'll sign David Njoku to the standard 2-year, essentially $20 million deal, and that might be a little bit of an overpay for his production this past year, but I would love to see him here in place of Adam Troutman. We'll sign him. Next, we'll get to a guy at the linebacker position that, hey, this would make our linebacker position pretty old, but I still think, man, he's got some gas left in the tank and he wants to play for a contender. You saw that interview with Kay Adams, right? It is Demario Davis. Absolutely. Bring him in here, have him play alongside Dre Greenlaw. He doesn't have to play every down. I think he'll be, 37 this year, but you could sign him to a 1-year contract, all right? And, we could bring down his cap hit by, I think, giving him a nice large signing bonus, or no, that won't do it. Shoot, I screwed it up. That's okay. We'll give him a $4 million signing bonus. We'll bring him in here, Demario Davis. Now, the guy that I want, the guy in the thumbnail, the guy that I think could help put this wide receiver core and this offense over the top would be Alec Pierce. He had his first 1,000-yard season this past year for the Colts. He's gotten better every single year in the NFL, and that's with quarterback play being all over the place for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, hey, the Colts, they would be smart not to let Alec Pierce walk. I don't see them franchising him, hopefully. Maybe they do that, but if I'm Alec Pierce, I'm going to do everything in my power to hit free agency because there is no guarantee that the Colts are going to have stability at quarterback moving forward. Who knows what Daniel Jones looks like after that Achilles injury, right? We saw Daniel Jones start to fall off a little bit before that injury as well. So, hey, we'll have to see. But this is the case. This is the case I make for Alec Pierce. Now they're saying a 4-year, $85 million or $80 million deal. I think if he hits free agency, that's probably going to be closer to $85 million. It might even be $90 million, which would be insane. But for this exercise, we'll go ahead and do $85 million, 4 years. Now, the signing bonus right now, CeeDee Lamb had the highest signing bonus for a wide receiver in NFL history. I want to say it's around $38 million or so. But this is where we can make a big difference, where we go in and we mess things up, right? We give him a $42 million signing bonus. That brings his cap hit significantly down for us to have some wiggle room with, which is great. Look at that cap hit, $11.6 million. And you can get Alex Pierce. Now, if you can't get Alec Pierce, maybe you go out and get George Pickens. That would be cool. I know some people don't like his personality, but at this point, I would be cool bringing in a guy like George Pickens. Outside of that, man, I don't really know. Jawan Jennings, but I don't know if he's got elite upside, right? Like those other two guys do. But we're going to sign Alex Pierce for this exercise here. That leaves us with about $4 million of working cap space. And that would allow us guys, like, if we ever needed more wiggle room to work with in free agency, you could restructure, for instance, Quinn Miners, okay, where you could add some void years and bring his cap hit down significantly to free up another $13 million or so, or $12 million, something like that. So there are ways around where the Broncos could get some more cap space. Of course, they could release Evan Ingram, which I'd rather not do. They could release Brandon Jones and save about 7 point something million dollars. I'd rather not do that. But we'll see. Let's get to the draft. Just going to get straight to it. This is the draft. Now, some of this on the rankings, guys, you might think, okay, you're overdrafting these guys. Look at their PFF big board rankings. This is just how I feel these guys are going to be come April. You're going to see a lot of shifting. I think Eli Stowers is a first-round tight end. Maybe that's a hot take, but you look at how this guy catches the ball. This guy's got in my opinion, a clutch factor to him. We made a mistake not getting weapons at the beginning, with that first-round pick, right? What if we had Terrence Ferguson last year? Wouldn't that have been freaking awesome? But Eli Stowers, I think he's the best tight end in this class outside of the kid from Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq. We take him, so that way you have a tight end room of Evan Ingram, David Njoku, Eli Stowers. That is much better than Evan Ingram, Adam Troutman. Who do we have? Lucas Kroll, all these other Jags. All right. That would be fantastic. Then at linebacker, again, you have an aging linebacker there in Demario Davis alongside Dre Greenlaw, who always seems to be dealing with injuries. So you draft Jacob Rodriguez, the captain linebacker from Texas Tech, who is phenomenal. Now, again, they say he's at 90 right now. So it seems like his character and all those things, his not his measurables, but you guys know what I'm saying, man. I always forget words when I'm doing these live streams, man. But his character's off the charts. I could see him rising up, and we're talking about pick 62 in the second round, okay? Then, guard, Chase Basantis out of Texas A&M with Ben Powers. You'll have Nick Gargiulo. That's his name, right? Nick Gargiulo, Alex Palczewski. These guys competing for a guard spot, but we also need some depth. And with a third-round pick, Basantis could eventually become a starter. Round 4, Katrin Allen, 5'11". I think he's like 215 pounds. Dude, this guy is elusive as heck. We need juice in the running back room with J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. Katrin Allen is a nice third running back. Round 4, Bryce Lance. He's like a 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver from North Dakota State. Trey Lance's little brother, but much better than Trey Lance, in my opinion. Now, he might need some development, but when you bring in a wide receiver one like Alec Pierce, you get the luxury to develop him a little bit, right? This guy could end up being real, real good. I think he's like a high floor type of guy or a high ceiling type of guy. Round 5, Bishop Fitzgerald, safety out of USC. A lot of flux with the safety position right now. Brandon Jones is under contract for 1 more year. He could be released. PJ Locke likely leaving. That leaves Devin Key, JL Skinner. Maybe Jahdae Barron moves to safety. I didn't really know what to do with him in this exercise. So you draft Bishop Fitzgerald to kind of round out the safety room. Now, guys, learn this name. Eli Heidenreich. Fullback, quarterback, halfback, tight end out of Navy. Andy, put me onto this guy. NFL Andy NFL on X in the Discord. He said, man, if this guy's the most Sean Payton-est guy out of, any guy in the draft. This guy is incredible. Go watch his highlights. He's like Taysom Hill on steroids. Okay. He can play running back. He can play fullback. He can legitimately play tight end. He's got fantastic hands. The man scores touchdowns from all over the field. We need a chess piece like this Eli Heidenreich on our offense. Just an absolutely mismatched nightmare. And they had him here at PFF as a fullback. Yeah, he can line up as that traditional fullback. And we usually use a roster spot on the 53, for, in this case, last year, Adam Prentice. Eli Heidenreich, much higher ceiling at that position. I would love to see him drafted here. Then, last couple seventh round picks. These are guys just developmental shots. Brandon Cleveland out of North Carolina State. And then Cody Barton's little brother, a guy that I thought might enter the draft last year, did not. Lander Barton, a really talented linebacker from Utah, and he also plays tight end. So some versatility over there if we ever need. And we're, hit the injury bug at the tight end position, sadly. So he could play offense if we ever need him to. But drafting another linebacker, I would be a fan of. And so overall, guys, I think this gives us a really good opportunity to balance out the team a little bit. We know our defense is still going to be really, really good as long as, Savion Jones isn't a bust, filling in for John Franklin Myers. I think that he's going to do a fantastic job. You're rounding out some of the holes you might have on defense with linebacker and with the back end, with the secondary. Is this the most realistic mock draft? Probably not, because George Paton loves to draft a corner every single year, and probably an edge player too. So I don't know what you do with that, but this was more so of drafting for need and making some picks that maybe might not be so sexy. Again, a linebacker in round 2, a guard, in the top 3 picks, but we need some of these guys that can help the trenches, help the front 7 look a lot better. But if we're able to make some big free agency signings, we're signing a wide receiver 1 in Alec Pierce or George Pickens, somebody like that. We're bringing back guys that we like J.K. Dobbins. We're revamping the tight end room to not be like one of the worst in the NFL. To have some real depth there with Evan Ingram, David Njoku. Heck, even though I dunked on Tyler Conklin earlier, I would gladly take Tyler Conklin on this team compared to what we've had last year. And yeah, maybe we go and sign a third running back, but having Katron Allen, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey here, I think that's a room that you would feel pretty excited about in terms of the upside, along with Eli Heidenreich. He's a guy, again, that can take handoffs out of the backfield, and I think he just fits what this team's DNA is. So that is the plan. If we follow these steps, George Paton, you don't even need to work this offseason, man. Let me just say, subscribe to David Talks Broncos. We got it taken care of. We go from 14-3 to 17-0 to 20-0. That's just what we do. So I'll leave this up here. I'll take a few of your comments. And again, guys, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. We got 70 people in here. And I know, man. Yeah, see? Wait, where's my big running back? Now, maybe you go out and get a guy like Jonah Coleman. He wasn't available in my mock draft, but that would be cool. All right. Respect my respect my coach saying Jerry Jeudy for the Saints 4th. Hey, man. Goat comment. That's all I'll say. All right. If you post June 1 designate Ben Powers, you'll save $13 million. Hey, good call on that, T-Fishes. So maybe that's what we do. Maybe that's what we do then. But you also want to give Ben Powers the opportunity to go and sign with, I don't know, it's probably a team that you'd like to be at. I don't know. It's those things can be a little tricky. But oh no, wait. Actually, with the June 1st designation, like we did Russell Wilson, and it still allows him to hit free agency when everybody else does. So, yeah, I like that. So we could save $13 million. Nick Gargiulo, thank you. Yeah, I think he could be a starting guard for us this next year. I mean, I thought he looked really good last year. All the reports were that like he was like one of the biggest risers last year in camp. And yeah, just went down with that. I think it was an ankle injury. Njoku would be awesome. There are some other quality tight ends available, like T. Fishes is bringing up here. I'd rather have Dallas Goedert replace Troutman and draft a tight end and give Evan Ingram one more shot. Yes, and that might be a more affordable way to do things, right? You sign a Dallas Goedert instead of a David Njoku. Dallas Goedert can block for sure, and I would like to see Evan Ingram get one more shot. Again, I know you can save like $8 million or something like that moving on from him, but that just leaves you with an even bigger hole to fill at the tight end position, man. So T Fish is saying Bryce Lance is underrated. Yes, he is. It's because he probably plays at North Dakota State, but we've seen that like Christian. Why am I blanking on his name? Over at Green Bay, um, Christian Watson. He's from North Dakota State as well. So again, yeah, and Christian Watson kind of needed a redshirt year or two after getting drafted by the Packers, if I remember correctly. So maybe we do the same thing with Bryce Lance because he would, if we sign a wide receiver, then that would give us like 5 wide receivers under contract entering the draft. And so he would kind of be your 6th wide receiver this year. But then you got some guys that kind of hit free agency next year, such as Marvin Mims, which, I mean, that's an interesting question. Do we bring him back? Jacob Rodriguez is my favorite inside linebacker. I love him a lot. I think these intangibles, that's the word I was looking for. His intangibles are off the chart as well. So again, I don't see him being the 90th best player or the 90th drafted guy. I think that he's going to go higher than that. And I know Stowers in the 4th or in the 1st. I know that might seem like a reach to some people, right? This is just my gut feeling, man. I think he's a fringe first round guy. I think he's a first round talent. And I see him rising up in this draft process. Looking back at this point last year, there are some people that have Colston Loveland as like a second round tight end. Then we saw, okay, he's starting to creep up into the late first round. Then he's drafted as the first tight end off the board at like pick 10. So a lot of things can happen. Again, I try not to go just based on like rankings of like who to draft, but really who I thought would help make a nice impact for the team in their first year. With how Ingram performed last year and with him being in the last year of his contract, if we retain him, I wouldn't see Eli Stowers being held back because of Evan Ingram. And we've seen this, man. I mean, Evan Ingram was held on the sidelines so often so that Adam Troutman could be on the field. I don't understand it. We'll see what happens. Yes. We need some meat and potatoes. All right. We need a guard. Vasantis would be great. Katrin Allen, Marquee Sports put me onto him last year. He was devastated that he didn't declare for the NFL draft. And I mean, he is just such a quality back. But if we could get either him or Nick Singleton, Jonah Coleman, one of those guys at pick 108 with the Saints pick, that would be great. There's a lot of good running backs, I think, in this class. Now, I don't know if it's exactly like as top heavy as last year's class was, right? I mean, you had some guys that I think if we did a redraft, they would go in the first round, such as Quinshon Judkins, right? Well, we'll see. Cornerback 2 and linebacker should be priorities to get our defense to a consistent level. I think that's very fair. I think with cornerback 2, again, it really comes down to what do you plan to do with Jahdae Barrett, man? Because, again, you don't draft a guy that's number 8 on your big board at pick 20. He's number 8 being a solely nickel guy. I want to see him play more outside. Oh, man, I disagree with you there, man. Dobbins should be back, but he should only be back if we surround the room with other really good backs, right? We can't be banking on him to just be the offense like we did the first 10 weeks of the season. Dobbins can't stay healthy, and that's why you also will be able to get him for a good deal. But Matt says he's a monster. I would want him to stay, but I'm going to pass on JK because every season he gets hurt. He's injury prone. At the end of the day, you can make excuses for, hey, this was a dirty tackle, all these sorts of things. Some things just end up happening like this to certain players, right? Just like Riley Moss sometimes in PI calls. But I'd like to see him be brought back. I really would. And I will stand on it. If we get J.K. Dobbins for 10 weeks with this sort of output, I think he's worth close to a vet minimum contract every single time. And I don't think Harvey stinks, but I was surprised that the running backs coach was not fired. We need to fix the run game. It seems like that's the priority. I think Greg Penner talked about it. George Payton, Sean Payton, all these guys talked about it. And I think Mims is replaceable on the offensive side of the ball, but again, we haven't really integrated him much. But yeah, we'll need a returner. I think that's the thing here in a year or two is finding another very dynamic returner. But you can do that. But I would agree when you look at what he has done. Like that guy from Alabama right now, Bernard, that wide receiver. Like, I think that guy can bring more to the offense than when Marvin Mims brings on offense. Again, I don't think Marv has been given really much of a fair shot because, again, we'd rather have little Jordan Humphrey on the field, but it is what it is. Zach saying no reach. We need a tight end who can make a difference. And yeah, Eli Stowers makes a difference. No doubt about it. I would love to see him on this team, man. If we can't get Kenyon Sadiq, it seems like he'll probably go sometime in the first round ahead of pick 30. I think Eli Stowers, he might do some things even better than Kenyon Sadiq, man. And let's see. I like Jack Andrews. He's got the best hands, in my opinion. Yeah, this is the Texas tight end, I believe, and can block. Has surprising speed. I won't be upset with Stowers. He used to be a quarterback too. Oh, I did not know that. But yes, Jack Andrews. He's a guy that I've seen like ranked in the second round, here on the PFF big board and stuff. He will be another guy to keep an eye on, T-Fishes, of just his stock rising, because I think he's another guy whose stock could very much rise over the next few months. I don't know if Barron's a miss, man. It's just we just haven't seen what he can do. But it's very frustrating. Again, why do you draft him if you don't play him? But I still think he's like a really talented player. We've seen in spurts, man. That's why I think I would be most intrigued because I still think Riley Moss is a good cover corner. I would be most intrigued with Barron's tackling ability to see him over at safety. But I know that was kind of like the fallback plan for him. We just haven't even seen him cover outside. He very well could be better than Riley outside. We just don't know. Now, Omar Cooper's a guy that could be available. He should be available there at pick 30. He might be available at our second pick at pick 62, depending on like how things go. Man, that guy's also awesome too. And I wouldn't say no to. I didn't draft any Indiana players, but yeah, if you played in Indiana, man, you're coming from a good culture, a winning culture. I don't discount those things. Ooh, this is a great idea. I think they should do everything they can to get Justin Jefferson. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be insane? And you saw that the Vikings just fired their president of offensive or of football operations. So they could be looking, man, to make some changes. Again, when you go with JJ McCarthy over Sam Darnold, I never understood it. You're hoping JJ McCarthy gives you the season that Sam Darnold gave the Vikings. That's how I felt about it. And wouldn't it have been really interesting if Sam Darnold signed with Denver that offseason instead, where we would be? Very interesting. Anyways, we should do everything we can to go get Justin Jefferson. Who would you trade for Justin Jefferson, and who might be guys the Vikings would want? Obviously, it would start with pick 30, but then maybe you're attaching a guy like Jonathan Cooper. They probably would want a guy like Troy Franklin out there too, right? This one would hurt, but what if they wanted Pat Bryant? That would suck, but you probably still do that too, right? If they want Pat Bryant instead of Troy Franklin. it was kind of like reported by somebody. I thought maybe this was just a rumor that when we were trying to acquire Jalen Waddle, they wanted a first round pick, a third round pick, and like Troy Franklin, something like that. It was a little too pricey, I think, for Jalen Waddle, but I can understand the high asking price. But it might be something like that for the best wide receiver, or probably him or JSN, right? Or Jamar Chase, CD Lamb. At very worst, he's like top 4, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. And right now, I would say Cortland Sutton falls kind of within probably the back end of the top 25 or so. We'll see. Okay, so TW really likes Bernard. That's great to know. Yeah, I was watching a little bit of his highlights earlier this morning, man. Really impressive guy, man. Like he can make guys miss. He can juke them. Uh, he can run through contact, stiff arm. Like I really do like Bernard, man. So he'd be another guy to watch out for. And you're saying, give me Ted Hurst. Well, we're gonna look up Ted Hurst. It's a great name, and he comes from a small school. Georgia State Panthers wide receiver, 6'3", 185 pounds. This season, he had 71 receptions for 1,004 yards, 6 touchdowns. Okay. Ted Hurst, he's a guy to look into, y'all. Thanks, TW. I'll have to look into him. See what else we got. But y'all, be sure to look at Eli Heidenreich, man. I love this guy. This guy can do everything. And if you got an injury, again, at tight end or at running back, he can play those positions too. Another guy that I would like in the 7th round, let's say Eli Heidenreich isn't available, or you just need to draft another running back. Dean Connors out of Houston. I like Dean Connors. I think he's a really good running back, man. Now, Zach, bringing up another great idea. Love me some Garrett Wilson. Wouldn't this be fantastic? Getting Garrett Wilson here on the Broncos. It would probably be another first-round pick plus. Maybe Jonathan Cooper is used as one of those guys. Maybe Riley Moss is. I think the Vikings also need corners. So, again, I didn't address it, ironically, in this perfect offseason, which maybe it's not perfect then. But my bold prediction I made yesterday on my show with Mike Carmelini and Kodiak is that, and I think Mark might have been one of the first ones to talk about this, so I'll just piggyback on it, is that, yeah, I think Jahdae Barron is starting somewhere on this defense next year. It's either going to be at safety in place of Brandon Jones, or it's going to be at corner in place of Riley Moss. Could you use Riley Moss? Some of our picks, guys like Jonathan Cooper, as trade chips for an elite offensive weapon. I think that absolutely has to be on the table this year. Matt saying 2 first-rounders and a 4th rounder next year for Jefferson. That would be, I think I would probably take that. That would be pretty crazy, man, to be able to get him without giving up any players as well. Oh, TW thinks the Dolphins wanted 2 first-round picks for Waddle. I wouldn't be surprised with that either. Yes, Bernard can also give you some juice at running back, right? And yeah, he can do those little things that we've used Marv on offense for and more. Like I think, yeah, Bernard's a guy that I could see Sean Payton really liking. Yeah, Eli, man, this guy makes catches. Now, again, he's a little bit more raw in the blocking game. And that's one of the things that, why his ceiling in the draft probably isn't top 15, like we saw both Colston Loveland and, oh man, why am I blanking on the Colts tight end? Tyler Warren, because those guys could block and receive, right? But the high-end ceiling for Eli Stowers as a receiving tight end is massive. What can he do in the blocking game? Well, we'll have to find out. But that's why I think he could be available there at pick 30. And, he might be a guy that's kind of similar to Terrence Ferguson. I mean, if Terrence Ferguson, they didn't have not Prescorn, um, Cody Parkinson, that all of a sudden like broke out this year. I think he would have gotten a lot more looks, and he would be talked about as being a fantastic pick there in the second round. Which I still think the Rams are really happy with him. But man, imagine if we had traded down and picked Ferguson there at the top end of the second round. Wouldn't that be awesome? Let's see. Desmond Claiborne, a day 3 to replace Jaleel and Bidet on the practice squad. Or Demons. Is his name really Demons Claiborne? All right, Desmond Claiborne. Oh, yeah, out of Wake Forest. 5'10, 195 pounds, 907 yards this year, 10 touchdowns, and also had 28 receptions. That's a good amount of receptions in college. So, yes, please. Yes, please. Oh, Demond Claiborne, is that how you pronounce his name? Dude, I'm about it. TW, you got to start a YouTube channel, man. Oh, yeah, I saw this. Demond. Let's see. Cooper for a third, I would do. Moss for a fourth or fifth rounder, I would do. I don't know, man. I think if I'm trading them straight up for draft capital, man, I think it would be really hard for me to give up Jonathan Cooper right now. And Riley Moss, man. I think I'd want at least second round picks for those guys. I know that's probably more debatable with Riley Moss, but maybe I'm just one of those fans that overvalues their own, team's players, right? Could be one of those guys. But bring in David Njoku, man. Or as T Fishes brought up, which I'm still waiting on T Fishes to start his Broncos channel, Dallas Goedert. That would be great too. At the end of the day, we got plenty of money in free agency. All of our core guys are coming back this year. Big question marks. What do we do with guys like Brandon Jones, Ben Powers? I think we kind of know. Surely, it'll be interesting to see what kind of tag we put on Alex Palczewski. Is it going to be the second round tender? Is it going to be the right of first refusal tender? We'll see. But Jaquan McMillan's going to be back playing on that second round tender. That's my prediction. And yeah, we got to go get some offensive weapons, man. If we can. Now, I love Cortland Sutton. I'm a Cortland Sutton defender. I think if we win a Super Bowl, man, he's a Ring of Fame guy. He's a Ring of Fame guy while he's here if we win a Super Bowl. But if you can get an elite offensive weapon and make him a number 2 or a number 3, if Pat Bryant, takes another significant step this year, man, then we're cooking. We are so cooking. Everything changes, man. George Kittle, man, I love George Kittle. I love George Kittle so much. Didn't he just sign an extension? Now, Travis Kelce's available, but I don't think that that's very realistic. But I think it would be funny to troll Chiefs fans with having him finish his career in Denver. I still think he's better. Last year he was more productive than any of our tight ends, right? So that would be something interesting. I don't know, just try and ask around. Is Travis Kelce interested in coming to Denver, man? See, yeah, the Coop's on a fantastic deal right now, and you could get, you can get a second rounder if a team's looking for a pass rusher. I mean, it's still one of the fastest get offs in the NFL. I learned that this year. That him and Nick Bonito are two of the quickest in the NFL off the line. Now, again, I don't know. It's tough with the Patriots game. You didn't really pass it much, right? Especially in that second half. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go back here and take a look at some of the free agents here on Spot Track. Oh, we can debate some more of these guys. But yeah, John Frankelmeyer is probably going to be gone. I'm interested to see what Some of our guys can do on the defensive line with with an expanded role. Let's see here. All positions. We're gonna go for market value here on here. And guys, yeah, use Spot Track. I got their premium. It's like $30 a year. Thanks to you guys. It's awesome. And what is advanced mode and expanded mode? Let's see what this is. Gonna go with all teams. Market value. Trey Hendrickson going to be freaking awesome. So yeah, Daniel Jones probably going to go back to the Colts. Other guys that I would be interested in bringing in Juwan Jennings. Like I said, Alec Pierce. I think he would be awesome. Devin Lloyd's another guy. He had a really good year for Jackson. Did he lead the NFL in interceptions? He did, at least for a long while this year. See what else we got here that might be the wide receiver position, man. I'm a big fan of Rashid Shaheed. I would imagine Seattle tries to keep him. Mike Evans is another guy that could be fun, but again, he's getting a little old, so I don't know. I see a guy like Mike Evans like signing in Baltimore. It seems like they always sign these guys, or like honestly, Kansas City. Teams that are a little bit more strapped for cash. They take these like older veterans. And we're not strapped for cash. We can go get a guy and pay premium price. What else we got here? Romeo Dubs is another sleeper. Let me I don't know if he's like a number one though, right? I think Christian Watson was still kind of production wise. Let me pull up his stats here. All right, so 55 receptions for 724 yards, 6 touchdowns. Yeah. Could he be better with a bigger role? We'll have to see. Antonio Williams, is he the guy from Clemson? And I don't really want to trade Coop because I like that he's a captain. TW saying Dubs is someone I would take over Troy and Lil Jordan. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Let's see what else we got here. Let's just go to the wide receivers or the running backs, rather, because some of you guys don't want to bring back J.K. Dobbins. So let's talk about who you guys would rather have here. Not Najee Harris. Breece Hall. Honestly, though, that would be fantastic. Now, he does have a little bit of a fumbling problem, like earlier in his career. This year, you see over on the right-hand side, only 2 fumbles this year. So, you'll live with that. But there's a lot of – I think we will sign at least one running back in the offseason. It would be great to bring back maybe J.K. Dobbins and then sign another one of these guys. But I don't know. You're probably not re-signing J.K. Dobbins if you're paying up for a guy like Breece Hall. Kenneth Walker would be awesome. Rashad White, I think, is really underrated. Javonte Williams, man, of course he gets good right after he leaves. But another guy that I would like is Travis Etienne. He's a guy that I think might have had his best year of his career here in Jacksonville with 1,100 yards and only 1 fumble. Remember, he had fumble issues earlier in his career. Only 1 fumble last year. That's awesome. And, not sexy signings, but like quality signings. Rico Dowdle. Tyler Algier. He's a guy that I think, they got him at a market value for $1.8 million. I think he's getting paid much higher than that for an AAV. So yeah, we got to get at least one of these guys out of Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Rashad White, Travis Etienne, Rico Dowdle, Tyler Algier. Like one of those guys we got to get, right? I will be underwhelmed with the Kenneth Gainwell signing. I'll just be honest about that, man. I don't think he's, that great. Guy had 31 rushing yards per game this past year, man. He ain't anything different than what we've had. So that would be a lot of fun if we get Breece Hall, man. That would be freaking awesome. But again, Rashad White, he's a guy that's slept on. Kenneth Walker, obviously. It's hard for me to see any of these guys leaving Seattle with the year that they've had. We'll see. Let's take a look at wide receiver. And then I'm going to get out of here in a few minutes, guys. So, market value, George Pickens, they have. I think these wide receiver rates are going to be higher. I feel like they're always higher than what Spot Track predicts. So that's why I had Alex Pierce being like an insane amount of money. But yeah, $20 million. I would pay that every time for guys like Alec Pierce, Juwan Jennings, but George Pickens, right now, excuse me, I'm on the side of I'd like to see us make a run at George Pickens if he hits free agency. Who else we got? Alec Pierce. Not Alec Pierce. Christian Kirk, kind of met on Calvin Austin. He's intriguing, man. I think like Calvin Austin is intriguing, but you kind of got Marvin Mims right here. Did Diami Brown do anything in Jacksonville this year? It's kind of frustrating because I wanted him to sign with the Broncos. So not a ton of wide receivers, man, to be honest. And then I'm totally out on Deebo Samuel. Wan'Dale Robinson is cool. I mean, 1,000 yards this year. He's like 5'8". So that's why I'm not like really the biggest fan of him. But he's more productive than guys I'm a fan of that are taller. So what do I know? Tight ends. Kyle Pitts. I don't really see us making a run at him. But if we do, I'd be really excited about it. But that's all contingent on this offense and this coaching staff actually using these tight ends that aren't great blockers. Travis Kelce, talked about him. Another guy that I really, really like a lot, and I just don't see Baltimore letting him go. But maybe they do with extending Mark Andrews. I was surprised by that. Is Isaiah Likely. Dude, I love Isaiah Likely. I've been a believer in Isaiah Likely ever since his Coastal Carolina days. And when he fell to like the 6th round or something like that, because he ran kind of a slow 40, I was, I was so surprised that he ran that slow of a 40. And I just thought Baltimore got a steal, man. And he had like one redshirt year or two, and he's been fantastic. Dallas Goedert, T. Fish has talked about him. Tyler Higbee, he's available. Heck, even, Noah Fant had some run this year that was half decent. If we bring him in as a tight end 2 or 3, that would be great. But he'll be on the field more than that, I guess. I mean, he's on the field for 34% of the snaps. Maybe not as much as I thought, but, 3 touchdowns. Did he get hurt? Game started 7. Maybe he got hurt like he normally does. And I forgot to talk about this too. Taysom Hill, man, as like your 4th tight end, a guy that maybe doesn't dress every single game at this age, but I don't know, man. I kind of like those Swiss Army knife kind of players. I know they're frustrating, like for playing fantasy football, but that's why I had Eli Heidenreich on here, man. I think that he's obviously, in my opinion, a better version of Taysom Hill right now. But Taysom Hill's going to be 36 this next season. So you only play him or bring him in at the veteran minimum. And that could be done in like the 2nd or 3rd wave of free agency, not necessarily in the 1st wave that mainly I'm covering here. Cade Otton, I forgot to talk about him. Cade Otton would be fantastic. I don't think he's making $8 million on a contract, man. I see these market values here being well under what these guys are going to get paid. I think Cade Otton's going to get paid somewhere between $15 and $20 million a year. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's like why I didn't have him in here. So we'll see. All right, guys, just some final words, and then we'll get out of here. Again, really appreciate all y'all watching this live stream. We got 150 people in here. Be sure to watch on YouTube, guys, if you're watching over on X. It does huge things when you support the channel on YouTube and watch over here, man. It's great. So thank you guys for joining in. Oh yeah, Tony in here. What about Otten, man? Otten's great. I think. Well, if you don't sign a guy like Alec Pierce or George Pickens, you could just flat out keep Evan Ingram and sign Cade Otton. You could do that, which I'm not opposed to that either, as long as you're drafting another wide receiver, probably with your, one of your top 2 picks, right? If you want Bernard, you either draft him at the end of the first round, you trade back early into the second round, or you trade up and go get him, right? In the second round. So, again, a guy like Bernard would be really cool. Man, Jeremiah Love would be freaking awesome. I feel like he's going to go like top 15. Yeah, I'm on the side with UTW. George Pickens would be freaking awesome. And Bo now, he's established enough to where, again, sometimes, man, when you got those wide receivers that are, a little bit more maintenance, right? Not the best thing for a young quarterback. But now Bo's going to be going into his 3rd year, right? You have the whole leadership core is kind of intact now. He has established himself as, being that guy. I think bringing in a guy like George Pickens, totally fine. Yeah, you guys want Cade Otton. Kalen Rutledge, dude, yes. Yes. Out of Georgia Tech. Is that who you're talking about? The guard out of Georgia Tech? Dude, that guy's an absolute beast. He's a monster, and probably another guy you could get in the, depending on how things go, either at pick 94, 108, 130. Heck, he might even be there in the 5th round for us, depending on like how things go. But yeah, I really like Rutledge out of Georgia Tech. So, guys, really appreciate all y'all coming in here, man. This was a lot of fun. I'll be honest, man. I'm probably going to be doing videos on this stuff like every week because it's what's really fun for me is just figuring out how we win the Super Bowl, man. Last year doing these videos, it was, win the AFC West, how we win the AFC West and win the Super Bowl, right? But we've won this the AFC West. Now it's legitimately what are the few moves that we make to put this team over the top to win the Super Bowl next year. So really appreciate every single one of you guys in here. You guys make this a fun show. So I'll be back again soon. It seems like I got another video to do on just some of the changes that have happened with the coaching staff. Some interesting things there. So again, y'all be sure to hit that bell for notifications, subscribe. Again, shout out to Kalshi for sponsoring the video. Get a nice little bonus when you sign up there. Link is in the description. Even if you're not ready to deposit, it really does help the channel. I'll see you guys again shortly. Go Broncos.